headquarters at the minute. As you know, the weather's miserable outside and we're stuck in the house, in our garages, with not a lot to do. What I have noticed though, is a lot of customers and stuff asking us a million and one questions about stuff to buy, things to use, things to avoid. Can I clean my car, the household equipment, don't really want to go back out the house, all that sort of thing. These are all things we're going to cover in the DIY series that we're going to do. So this isn't aimed at professional guys, this is aimed at guys who maybe haven't thought about doing this process before, maybe they just one bucket, one sponge sort of thing, but they've got a wee bit more time in their hands. This is focused at those guys, alright? So we're just going to run through, this is nothing to do with chemicals, so avoid anything you see in these bottles. We're not doing any reviews, nothing like that. Basically, we're focusing on just the essential equipment that you need, alright? And some wee extra tidbits, alright? First one we're going to come on to, especially right now, alright? So coronavirus is in the air, and we're all on lockdown. These are important, alright? Gloves, PPE is massive. Like, a lot of people who are DIY guys, the detailing community is about to cringe, but they do use very liquid, alright? They do use household products. Some of them have got ammonias in them, caustics, all that sort of stuff. You need gloves, you need to protect your hands. We've been doing this for a long time in my hands and still in great condition. And that's because no matter what job we are doing, even if it doesn't involve chemicals, there's gloves on, alright? You've got to protect your hands. So that is definitely the number one part of the equipment, alright? First bit we're going to focus on is the exterior, alright? So there's loads and loads of different methods, theories, all that sort of stuff out there, and I'm not going to go too into it. This isn't a scientific detailing channel. We're going to keep this basic because it is DIY, alright? But the first thing we're going to focus on is buckets, alright? So this is a new bucket. This one's only came in, we've only started using this over the last week or so, but we have got 3 of those buckets here, and that's the key part, alright? So the reason we use a 3 bucket method, alright, is because we want to try and create, like, the less abrasive the surface can be that we are washing, the better. Everybody hates swirl marks, don't care who you are, everybody hates it. You see your car parked in the sun and it looks clean, but you're just like, the car looks like a mess. There's lines going everywhere, scratches, it looks like there's cobwebs everywhere, like a bad CD. That's almost what it looks like. And this is one of the essential bits of kit to stop that. There is a pre-wash that we're going to touch on a wee bit as well. But within these buckets, alright, within all 3, now the process of these buckets is fairly simple. Clean, dirty, wheels, alright? So we put soap on all 3 of the buckets, to be fair, just because we want to keep the mitt or the noodle mitt or whatever you're using lubricated with whatever soap that we're using. So basically there's a process to that. So if you are using a 3 bucket method, now the reason you would want to do that is you get your mitt, you've made contact with the surface, alright, so you're cleaning the car. While you're cleaning the car, on that mitt there is contaminants, there's wee stones, there's grit, there's salt, there's loads of crap nasty stuff within that whatever you're using to clean the car. If you just put that straight in the same bucket that you're using to clean all 3 of the cars, you can imagine, see when you're getting to the last panel, or you're getting even halfway around the car, that mitt is filled with grit and rubbish, and there's nowhere, especially if you're using a sponge or whatever, there's nowhere for that grit to move. It's stuck on a flat surface. So that's why we use a 3 bucket method. So you make contact with the car, all soapy, lovely, however you want to wash it. Alright, we're not going to get any methods of washing, this is purely just an equipment. Basically, once you've did that, you take your mitt away from the car, you put it in a dirty bucket. Now, we actually label all these buckets, but there's somebody out there washing, one of the staff's washing their own cars at the minute, so they're using the labelled up buckets. But we'll label these up, we've got stickers there, and one of these will say clean, dirty wheels, or there's loads of that. You can buy loads of those kits, or you can make them up yourself, or put a bit of tape on one. So you're taking your mitt away from the car, you put it into the dirty bucket. Now, that dirty bucket, when you're putting it in there, don't just dunk it in, put it in the clean bucket, back to it. Give it a right good shake, give the mitt a right good wiggle about, rinse it out, give it a shake, and almost like give it a shake as if you're trying to dry it. When you've done that, then put it back in the clean bucket. then make contact with the car. So that's why we use the 3 buckets. It's to stop abrasion build-up within the mitt or the sponge or noodle or whatever you're using within that surface, alright? Now, on the part of abrasion, one of the reasons we'll talk about that is these here. These are very, very cheap, but so essential, and there is hundreds of variations of these, alright? Essentially what this is a grit guard, alright? Now this basically sits in the bottom part of that bucket, alright? So I'm just going to grab this mitt that's out here. Avoid the branding or whatever that's on the mitt. It's a cheap technique mitt, but we're not doing any sort of use, alright? So this mitt's literally just been used. So if you can imagine, I'm putting my hand down into the bucket here, and when my hand's going down into the bucket, if you can imagine that lower part of the bucket, there's going to be, you'll have noticed it yourself, you've tipped all the water out, but all the rocks and the salt and the rubbish is stuck to the bottom. This is to prevent the mitt picking that up, alright? So we're not going to touch the bottom of the bucket, to scrape the bottom of the bucket up, to then make contact with the surface. So again, it's another added bit of protection. Some people only put these in their 2 buckets. We've got them in all 3. Every single bucket we use, we've got a dedicated engine bay bucket and we put it in there. They're very, very cheap, but genuinely one of the greatest detailing inventions ever is one of these buckets. We've got a clear bucket. We're shooting a video now just about the importance of pre-wash and all that sort of stuff, but that will really explain how essential this £2 and there's loads of different ones. You can get really, really high quality ones, but if you can put anything in the bottom of that bucket, from stopping you making contact all the way to the bottom, the better, alright? So that's the buckets covered. That's the first bit, because that's usually the first bit you're going to do, alright? It's fill the buckets with water. In the buckets, we've got a couple of different bits, I'm going to my desk right here, of equipment in here. And then these buckets outside, we've got a bucket tidy as well, but that's not essential, alright? So basically, these are the 2 most important bits. We've got 2 of these in these buckets, and we've got a couple of these in the buckets as well. Now, if you've got badges, etc., bits that are hard to clean, round windows, all that sort of stuff, one of these type of brushes is really, really good. You can pick these up in DIY shops, you can pick them up in pretty much a lot of automotive stores, pick them up online, they're £1, alright? Really, really cheap. So that's a great bit of equipment for shuts and all that sort of stuff, because you're going to have time, because you're stuck in the house, so I'm assuming you're going to want to spend a wee bit more time in your car, so this is a good way to start. Sponges, no, there's only one use we would really have for a sponge in here, and to be honest we don't even use them for that, we just have done in the past and we're cut short, but the only reason we use them is tyre dressing application. That's literally it, because it actually holds tyre dressing really, really well. Reason we don't use sponges is really, really simple. If you can see within that mitt, there's loads and loads of microfibres in there. Now, if we get, this is a relatively new mitt, if we get a kind of small stone, small bit of grit stuck in there, it will sink itself into those fibres, but because you're using the 3 bucket method, this isn't a guarantee, but you should be able to wriggle those wee contaminants out there. The problem with the sponge is everything sticks to it and you can't get it off. I remember when I used to wash cars before I got really, really into the detailing side of things, maybe when I was like 13, 14, out with my dad, sponges, and my dad would keep the same sponge for as long as he could. Like, it used to be about that size and he would still keep it. And I used to not think anything of it, but now I'm like, I can't believe we used to wash cars like that. And then my dad's like, a cleaning nut. But this is basically the one. This isn't the only style you can get. You can get variations that have sponge in the middle here to keep it extra frothy for you, or noodle mitts. There's loads and loads of different variations out there. This one, this G-Type one, I think is maybe about £13–14. But they do last a lot longer. I'm not sure how long they would last on the DIY, but they last us maybe a week. We change our equipment very, very regularly, but maybe not even a week sometimes, because as soon as these start to break up, we just replace them. But that sort of style, or a noodle mitt or something like that, just no sponges, no brushes, nothing like that, alright? Brushes are for sleeping floors, nothing else. Okay, so that covers the kind of body work, and again, people are like, oh, but you didn't use this, you didn't talk about this. This is for guys, DIY, doing it at home, stuff you've got in your garage, alright, or stuff you can buy from your local parts store, alright. Now, we use wheel wheelies and wheel brushes and various types of things, right, but I'm trying to keep this to things that you may have lying about in the house, or things that you can pick up locally, because the less you can try and order online, obviously the better. So these here, as I said, these have literally just been used. That's a noodle style mitt. We use that for the wheels, and that's like a wheel brush. The these are going to bin because they're about a week old now, and that needle mitt's actually burst. So we use those tools. People say, I'll just use a sponge on my wheels. Again, can I do that? I'm guessing that people may have not iron followed their wheels, maybe not removed tar and all that sort of stuff from their wheels. See if you've got gloss black wheels, or you've got chrome wheels, or you've got quite a delicate surface or a painted surface on your wheel. See if you use a sponge. Now, if you use a mitt, I'm not saying this isn't going to happen, right? But you're limiting the damage. That's what you're trying to control what you can do. If you're using a sponge, you're picking up all that dirt and then rubbing it up against your lovely gloss black wheels. And people say to me, my car looks amazing, but my wheels they're never going to look the same. And the only thing that can really be done, because people go so aggressive with their wheels, it would be like, make sure your suit's all ironed. This is how I picture it in my head, right? You make sure you're going out for a night out, you make sure your suit's all ironed, and you don't clean your shoes. And you clean your shoes by going running up down the long grass outside. That's basically essentially what a lot of people do with their wheels, and that's one of the biggest mistakes. And it's one of the things, people look at the bodywork straight away, and then they look at the wheels, because everybody wants to look at nice, clean, shiny wheels. If you're not cleaning them properly or using proper equipment. And what I would do, right, is because this is DIY, you can work on a demotion system, right? So basically, what we do the exact same thing in here. So that G-Technic mitt, after a week or so, that's going to probably move into the wheel bucket, alright? And then the one that's in the wheel bucket is going in the bin. And that's how we work with the mobile side and all that sort of stuff. It's like a demotion system, so it moves down the ranking. But particularly if the mitt's really bad, then it will just get chucked anyway. But as long as the mitt's in a reasonable condition, it will go in the wheel bucket. But you need to take care of your wheels as well, guys. Alright, so no sponges on the wheels. Just throw the sponges out. Alright, just do something else. They're not for cleaning cars. Alright. Now that's you set up. You filled all your buckets with your lawn and your soap. I'm not going to talk about shampoos or anything like that. One of the most important things is having obviously water access. We're not going to talk about waterless washes, but ideally you want a pressure washer, alright? I understand if you don't have a pressure washer, because not everybody's got that readily available, so what you want is a similar, we don't have any actual proper foaming bottles because we've all run in pressure washers here, but a similar type bottle to this, a pump action, and then you spray it, and basically this bottle, you can get bottles that are similar to this that provide snow foam, alright, and they don't foam up as well obviously as a pressure washer, but if you do have a pressure washer, if you can get your hands on similar type bottles or a spray bottle, you can put your citrus pre-wash in there, anything at all. We obviously buy everything in like 25 litres or whatever, but if you're buying it, it will probably come with a spray bottle. But these are just a wee idea if you're thinking, I can't snow foam my car because I've not got a pressure washer. There is alternatives out there. I've even seen our local parts store, they've got a thing that you actually attach to your normal garden hose, and when you spray it, it creates like a foam. I've not tried it out, but it looks like a kind of bit of kit. So that's a kind of pre-wash bottle that you can try and get your hands on. Alright, similar to this, this is just a ceramic sealant that's in this bottle, but a similar type spray bottle, something that maybe in the house and the cleaning agent or whatever's empty, steal it, rip the label off and use it, alright, because sometimes when you're buying car cleaning products, the bottles on the grate, it's a big letdown for consumer based stuff. And then snow foam, alright, we're not going to talk about the product that's inside it, we're not going to talk about the bottle either, but it's a bottle, alright, snow foam bottle, clips into the pressure washer, snow foam the whole car, and that's a great bit of kit. Snow foaming is essential to us in what we do, because we are, as like I said with the buckets, you're trying to control what you can do, alright, so you're trying to control how many surface contaminants you can pull off that paintwork. And this is another great way of doing it. If you had a mix between a citrus pre-wash and a snow foam, ideal. Alright, we're not going to talk about household cleaners you can use to replace that or anything, don't be asking me those sort of questions, but this is a perfect setup. This is how we would normally set up. We would normally have, like, just for instance, wheel cleaner, citrus, snow foam, and that's our most kind of target. We've got specific tyre cleaners and that sort of thing, but that's generically what we try and stick to as our similar setup. Alright. So for the exterior, you want your 3 buckets, a pressure washer if you have one, garden hose otherwise, but you can grab yourself, treat yourself, get yourself a pressure washer, get yourself a snow foam bottle, steal one of the bottles out of the house, or try and get yourself a kind of professional. You can get them in B&Q, Asda, garden ranges, similar type bottles. They don't have to be a professional one like this because the products you're probably using won't damage the seals inside. But just be careful and read what's in the bottle that you're going to decant it into that if you've got it in 5 litres, and just make sure that your spray bottle can take that. Again, another type, just another type spray bottle. That is an actual all perfect product, but you can convert a household. I mean, you can stick any chemical in it, so that's the type of setup. Alright. The other thing you want, and I can't show you, is a drying towel, because all the drying towels are in the van, and the only one that's left the boys using now. So you want a big drying towel. Alright, so we'll talk about microfibers, but basically you can just, not a bath towel, nothing like that, but a really plush, thick microfiber towel. I'm trying to see if I can see one there, but that's what you want to have. Alright, so a big massive towel to dry the car. And the best way we would describe to dry the car, alright, is if you can imagine this being a big microfiber towel, you would just sweep it across the bonnet and pad it down. You've got time to do this, guys, so don't think this is pedantic or anything. You're in lockdown, so you've got all the hours you need, and then simply just pull the corners of that microfiber and pull it off the car. Alright. Obviously that's going to be a trickier process, and also what we would just tell you to do, like sides or whatever, is just pull it across like that as safely as you can. Alright. Again, because what you're trying to do is control, there shouldn't be any contaminants left on the surface, like heavy contaminants like salt and grit or whatever, but you never know, because if you're washing the car outside, wind and all, dust and all that sort of stuff, that comes into play. So that's DIY. That is a good setup. That process, you wash your car, maybe take you an hour or two, depending on how daft you want to go. There'll be people saying, take me 4 hours to wash my car. That's absolutely fine, because you're probably de-ironing it and all that sort of stuff, or clay barring it or whatever. We're not talking about any of that sort of stuff today. We're talking about essential kit. A guy, girl, whatever, out there washing a car, and they want to do it as best they can with the basic amount of equipment that they can get. Alright. And then, as I said, we could talk about, these are done, so that's the reason I'm using for them for these videos. These are short, so you can get different types of microfiber. What you want to do is make sure it's nice and plush, like that microfiber is. Preferably an edgeless microfiber if you can get it, but you really need to maybe go online or something like that. I don't know if Halfords or shops similar sell edges sort of stuff, but that's a relatively safe cloth for what you're going to do. And a diamond weave as well, we use these on glass and things like that. So do a wee bit of research. There's loads of different microfibers out there. Try and stay away from the microfibers you can get in general shops though, like Minky, that sort of stuff. I've done a test on those cloths about 2 years ago, and they're really, really bad for your paint. Really bad, because the microfibers are so small and they're so stiff. And like, I'm no a microfiber or cloth scientist or whatever, but if you look in this microfiber, the fibres are so tight together, whereas on the kind of Minky style ones, they're very, you can see lines and stuff. So I would try and avoid them. Alright, so that's good for removing polish, glass cleaners, all that sort of stuff, whatever it is that you're doing. And then applicators. Alright, so that's the last thing. If you're going to be polishing your car, we're not going to talk about how you polish your car, what polish to use, nothing like that. Applicators, dead easy. This is a we use this on leather, but this can be used to polish your car. Again, guys, it's for DIY, it's for people in their house doing it themselves, and stuff that they can get ready available at the present time. This is who this video's for, alright? So a couple of different applicators there for you. You can pick these up for like £1 as well. Try and show you if I get a brand new one here. So there's a soft foam Maguire's soft foam for smooth application of lotions, gel, dressing and protectants. Ideal for use on leather, vinyl and rubber surfaces. So this is, we've done a thing on this, so this is the reason why we did this, because this isn't actually safe for paint, because we've been at the Halfords and we're doing a shop bought detailing series, and basically this is sitting next in between two polish applicators. Anybody, I used to do this when I was younger, anybody walking into the shop would go, oh, that looks like a good quality bit of kit. That's not nice if that catches your paint, but that's what you would think. And it says soft foam applicator pads, it's not really for polish. We've done a wee test on it, video will come out later, just about how bad these are, brand new, even dampened. They're bad, but good for things like your seats or like applying plastic trim and all that sort of stuff. So again, just different type of applicators. I'm not a big fan of using a microfiber as an applicator, but if it's what you've got, it is what you've got, guys. So that covers your exterior, alright, so that covers the whole washing process that basically you're going to need. You're not really going to need any much more than that, because we can't readily available. If you can get, if you've maybe got a local detailing shop that might be open, I don't know, maybe they're doing hand sanitizers as well so they can stay open, then you can get and get more specific bits of kit, but that's like the basic essentials. Some of the stuff like the wee brushes and that, like you don't even need those sort of stuff. Great bits of kit. Now, thanks for watching, guys, but this is a video dedicated to things that you can find round about the house, or things that you might be able to supply quite locally. Maybe not so much the foamer bottle, but maybe we'll order it online or whatever. Or in your local supermarket, you can get similar style bottles. And the grit guards, you'll probably have to order them online unless you've got an automotive part shop opened. But that's the bit of kit you need, guys. So thanks very much for watching. We're going to do loads and loads of videos. This isn't the first video we've done, but this is the first video we're putting out because it's a relatively simple video to edit. But we'll get loads of cool challenges coming up, and we'll put them up. But people have messaged me, honestly, maybe about 30-40 times over the weekend, asking me loads of questions. So I think I've pretty much covered them all in the video. But yeah, like our channel, subscribe, give it a wee share, and we'll be doing loads of cool stuff. A lot more in depth than this, but this was just a quick video to put out there, just so people, we're going to do a DIY series anyway, probably while this corona stuff's going on, because I'm in here in the workshop all by myself. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.